Festival Filmmaker Forum, sponsored by Sundance Channel. And we have Ian Brick from Sundance Channel is our moderator today.
I thought that the best thing to start with here would to ask each of the filmmakers on the panel here to introduce themselves and their films. You've probably seen some or all of the films represented here, but I thought it might be good for everyone to introduce themselves.
My name is Marc Pilvinsky, and I made a movie called Night, Dawn, Day. It's a short film. It's about a woman who is, she's so angry at the world that she wishes everyone would just disappear, and they actually do.
As you see, we have a pretty wide range of kinds of projects up here, from short films, features, documentaries. I thought maybe the main purpose of this panel is, or this forum is for you, the audience, to have a chance to talk to the filmmakers about their experiences making their films, the challenges they faced, their process, all those sorts of things, kind of a free-for-all. But I thought before we went to that, I would ask maybe each of the filmmakers here to speak a little bit about the particular challenges of their films. I mean, it's hard to get any film made, let alone a good one. And I'm curious to hear from each of you maybe a little bit about what aspect of the process of making your particular film you found the most difficult. Was it the subject, raising money, the realities of production, you know, those sorts of things?
Night, Dawn, Day sort of was born out of wanting to have the opposite experience that I had on my previous film. I made a movie called Indefinitely that showed here in 2002, and for me it was a really big short. It was expensive. We shot 35mm anamorphic. We had a big crew. It was, you know, it took 9 months to edit. It was just sort of a, it turned out, you know, I'm really happy with how it turned out, but it was a big ordeal basically, and I wanted to make a movie to follow it up that had, you know, was nothing like that first movie in terms of story and also in terms of the experience. So I just wanted to do something easy and simple. I'd read a lot about Steven Soderbergh's experiences on a movie called The Underneath. He made Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and then 3 movies that basically nobody saw. They're amazing, but nobody saw them. And he sort of started rethinking his career while he was shooting The Underneath. And what he decided to do was to make a movie called Schizopolis on his own, just on weekends with friends and using his own money. And he sort of recharged his creative batteries that way. And so I sort of patterned Night, Dawn, Day after that. I wanted to just shoot with you know, minimal actors, almost no crew, and yeah, I just wanted it to be a simple and easygoing experience. So I wrote a movie where it's basically, other than the first scene, it's an actor alone in the world. There's not another person in the movie. It actually stretched into like 1.5 years of shooting and a year of editing. I mean, it ended up being a much bigger ordeal than the first movie was in the end. But I don't know, I think over time the movie just kind of became what it was meant to be. I think if I had made it quickly, it wouldn't have worked exactly, and it wouldn't have, I don't know, there's just something about the experience of taking my time with it that really made it all work out better than if I had hurried it and done it in a sensible period of time. I shot on the Canon XL1 with a wide-angle lens. Yeah, we also cut on an Avid, and we did our online on a Fire.
This is kind of like speed dating.
I found that one way to get really great performances out of an actor, and actually really great performances out of everyone on your crew, is to find people who are creatively dissatisfied with their job. You know, if you find an editor or a DP who's, you know, doing very low-budget car commercials shot on video, or you know, stuff doing industrial videos or something like that. If you can, you know, offer them a creative stake in what you're doing, if you can sort of fulfill a dream they have by working on something fictional, or I don't know, just sort of empower them to be creative in a way that their paying gig doesn't do. You know, you really get great work out of them, and it's mutually beneficial. For my movie, we had no permits, no contracts, no anything. You know, it was just part of trying to make it an easy experience for everyone, and we did some underwater shooting, and we did have to have insurance for that piece of gear, but that was about it. I was writer and director on Night, Dawn, Day. I ended up producing it because a producer friend had agreed to the project, and things just didn't work out with her schedule. You know, I really wish I had a really strong producer. I don't feel like that's something I'm terribly good at, but I ended up doing it by default. We shot sort of a strange situation. We started shooting when I lived in Dallas, Texas, and a few months later I moved to Los Angeles, and a month after that my lead actress moved to Los Angeles. So we essentially kept shooting for about a year and a half. About a year into the movie, we had a rough cut of it by my editor, Jack Waldrop, in Dallas, and it was really, I've never shot a movie this way. He was doing things with the edit that were really surprising and completely blew me away, and started informing how I shot the rest of the movie. And so instead of just writing a screenplay and shooting it and you know, and working with the editor to finish the movie, his edit started, you know, really telling me new things I could shoot, new ways of shooting them, and so then he would start cutting them in, and it was, you know, it was just such a really great collaboration between the two of us. It wasn't just, you know, my vision and him, you know, doing what I said. He was such a vital part of why the movie is good to me. You know, basically, because I shot this movie in a very strange way, we have probably 40 locations and no cast except for one actress. It was, you know, there were times, we shot it in such a sort of laid-back fashion that there were times I thought, this is not going to work, this is, you know, we're never going to finish it. But it was seeing the first rough cut from the editor that really gave me a lot of hope, and you know, he just showed me there was so much more to the movie than I expected, and it was really, really wonderful. I wrote Night, Dawn, Day because I bought this little 16mm camera, just like a non-sync 100-foot spool camera, so I wrote this movie that's almost entirely voiceover, because I knew I couldn't get sync sound if I shot with this. I ended up shooting the movie on DV instead, and I think if I had shot 16mm, I would be very cautious about every shot. You know, you just hear the money clicking away as the camera is rolling, and I think the movie would have been really constrained by that, because I ended up shooting in many locations. You know, trying some sort of risky things, purposely having lens flares. I sort of just never stopped rolling. And also, in my movie, there's supposed to be only one person left on the planet, and so when you're shooting in Dallas or Los Angeles, trying to get a shot with nobody walking in the background is really, really difficult. So I knew that we'd basically be painting out people and doing split screens and, you know, these sort of invisible tricks to make it look like there's no one else around. And that involved letting the camera roll for a long time, a lot of times. So I think on 16, the movie probably would have fallen apart. I don't think I could have done it. You know, I think when you ask people to work for free or for cheap for you, you know, one thing that drives you to finish it is that you owe it to all of them. They've, you know, given a lot of themselves to your project, and you really owe it to them to finish it. So I think that's part of it. You know, obviously we end up spending money on these films, and you don't want to totally throw that away. So I think both those things sort of drive you to finish it. You know, all of us up here want to make films for a living. We want to, you know, do that as the way we make our living. You you know, now and then there might be a project that remains unfinished, but you know, it's really important to do the work. It's really important to, you know, even if at a certain point you realize this is probably not going to be as good as I thought it was, it's important to finish it and just say, you know, the next one's going to be better.